These are the exact 5 supplements that I took to lose 50 pounds in 3 months. In today's video, I want to break down each supplement, why I took it, and how it helped me not only lose 50 pounds in 3 months, but keep the weight off for the past 15 years. One of the first questions I always get when someone asks how to lose weight is, which supplements should I take? Now, I just want to be clear on something. This is not what led to the weight loss that I experienced. 50 pounds in 3 months was primarily achieved through movement, muscle, and meals. However, supplementation can play a role if you have the right plan set up. But it only works if you have the basics built first. But in today's video, I'm gonna break down the 5 key things that I took every single day, and hopefully this will help you avoid buying supplements that are a waste of money and help you keep a very simple but effective supplement routine. So let's start with supplement number 1. We're gonna start with the most tried and true supplement out there in my opinion, and that is creatine. Creatine is found naturally in a lot of different foods. Red meat, yogurt, fish. There's a few other ones of course, but you're probably getting some creatine in your diet already. Why is creatine important? Why is it important when you're trying to lose fat? Well, the first thing to understand is creatine helps your body produce what's called ATP. In simple terms, this is the energy inside the muscle that is utilized when you're working out. One of the biggest problems I see with guys trying to lose weight, especially who need to lose a lot of weight like I did in my early 20s, is you lean into doing a lot of cardio instead of training. And the primary reason behind this is because you're just trying to burn a ton of calories. However, one of the things we want to avoid is muscle loss when losing body fat. We want to primarily tap into the body fat stores we have, along with some water weight, of course, but hold on to as much muscle as possible. Creatine helps us do that. Creatine helps us primarily with energy inside the gym. And when we're eating less calories and we're doing more activity, sometimes our energy starts to suffer. And that can lead to loss in strength, loss in motivation, just loss of intensity inside the gym. So we want to keep creatine as part of our supplement routine, especially during a fat loss phase, to avoid some of these common downfalls. Now, how much creatine do you need to take? My recommendation is anywhere from 5 to 10 grams per day of the most basic type of creatine out there, creatine monohydrate. This also happens to be one of the most affordable supplements out there, which is good news for you because you're gonna need to take it every single day. Most people think, oh, I'll just take it after my workout days, and they end up taking it 3 days a week, when in fact, you need to be taking it on a daily basis. This just helps ensure that your creatine stores inside your body always stay fully stocked, so that way when you go to train, you have the ATP generation there ready to go. Creatine actually encourages the storage of water inside the muscle belly itself. This is a good thing because our muscles are actually made up of primarily water. When we get dehydrated, we experience a loss in strength, a loss in muscle pump, and just don't look as good. So we want to have more water stored inside the muscle, and creatine helps us do that. But what we don't want is water being held between the muscle and the skin. So if you notice that creatine causes you to feel bloated, or there's just a noticeable change in your water retention, you can play around with the amount of creatine, but the one thing I would avoid is doing what's called creatine loading. A lot of people will stock up on creatine their first week, taking 20, 30, even 40 grams of creatine a day in some extreme cases, along with high amounts of sugar to supposedly help the body take on more creatine. This is just completely unnecessary and was actually just a marketing ploy early on to get you to buy more creatine and run out of your creatine a little bit faster. So all you need to do to start is 5 grams of creatine monohydrate taken at the same time every day, typically before or after your workout, with water. Don't need to take anything special with it, and just see how your body responds. Typically you'll notice a change in energy and strength over the first 30 days, something you can keep in your routine from now until eternity. You don't need to cycle off. You don't need to do any kind of loading. Just keep it simple, and I promise you creatine will help. Let's go to number 2. Supplement number 2 that I took every single day was vitamin D3. Now, why vitamin D3? Well, first of all, you get vitamin D3 from sunlight. So if you live in a warm climate where you're outside all the time, you're getting plenty of sunlight, you probably don't need a vitamin D3 supplement. However, I lived in a climate where I only got sun a few times a year. So when I was losing 50 pounds, the one thing I wanted to avoid was ever feeling run down, feeling depressed, feeling just a lack of energy. Plus, I wanted to keep my testosterone levels in a healthy range. So the reason why I started taking vitamin D3 was I actually went and got my blood work done when I started losing a ton of weight. And I noticed in my blood work report that my vitamin D3 levels were low, which leads me to a really important lesson for you. And this is something that everyone watching this should pay attention to. It's important for you to monitor your internal health. Supplementation at the end of the day is just making sure all of your levels that need to be at a certain point with vitamins, minerals, and everything else inside your body hormonally are at the healthy range. If you don't know where you are naturally, well, then you're just playing the guessing game. So it's important to go out and get your levels checked on a consistent basis. My suggestion is at least once a year, ideally every 6 months. You can monitor where your body is, and then you can supplement according to whatever you're lacking. And in my case, I just wasn't getting enough vitamin D3. So I started taking 10,000 IUs a day of vitamin D3, and 6 months later, my levels were in a healthy range. It's really that simple. Vitamin D3 does a lot for your body from a health standpoint. For a guy, it's really important to keep your hormones in check, to keep your brain functioning at the highest level, and to just avoid things like illness, feeling run down, and just a lackluster approach to life. So vitamin D3 is something I kept in my routine, and honestly, to this day, I still supplement, but I supplement according to what my body's feedback is telling me. My blood work is really the map, the directions on where I go with my supplementation. So get your blood work done, and you might find that vitamin D3 is something you need. If this video has been helpful so far, do me a favor, leave me a comment. What supplements are you curious about? What do you want to add to your routine? What do you currently take? Let me know in the comments, and I'll be sure to answer all of your questions. The third supplement that I took every single day as I started to lose weight was electrolytes. Now, the reason behind this is because I was doing a lot of cardio when I first lost a big chunk of weight that I was holding. In fact, some days I was doing 2 sessions of cardio plus a weight training session. This is not sustainable, and it's not something I recommend to anyone these days, especially guys who are busy, have careers, families, that kind of stuff. But I was sweating a lot. And when you sweat a lot, you lose electrolytes. And if you don't replenish them through naturally salting your food, or in my case, an electrolyte powder, then you're gonna start to notice some pretty severe drops in energy and performance. So the last thing I ever wanted was to feel dehydrated. So someone early on, I was fortunate enough to tell me, hey, electrolytes can make a huge difference in how you feel, especially if you're training twice a day. So in the morning, I would go do my cardio, I'd sweat a ton, and I would come home and I would take electrolytes. Now, I'm not just taking salt. There's actually 3 main electrolytes that I would supplement with: sodium, potassium, and magnesium. And you don't need the same amount of all 3. Sodium is really the primary mover here. You're gonna need a decent amount of sodium. Potassium's really the second in line in terms of quantity. And then magnesium is also important, but you don't need as much. For me, it looks something like this. Typically it was 1,000, for every 1,000 milligrams of sodium I would supplement with, I get a couple hundred milligrams of potassium and then about 60 to 80 milligrams of magnesium. Now, of course, listen to your doctor, pay attention to the research, do your own research, but ultimately all 3 in combination were a powerful formula to make sure my body was never lacking in the key things I needed for performance. It's not enough in some cases just to drink a ton of water. In fact, when you sweat a lot and then you drink a ton of water, sometimes you can even lose more electrolytes, which can cause some pretty nasty side effects like feeling lethargic, brain fog, no energy to train, cramping, stuff that we just don't want. So electrolytes were a part of my daily staples when it came to my supplementation routine. Something for you to consider if you're sweating a lot or if you're just feeling a little bit lackluster in your performance. You could take electrolytes before you go lift weights, especially if you do things like training fasted, which I did a lot when I was losing weight. It's important to make sure your body is primed and ready to go performance-wise. So electrolytes are number 3 on my list of my daily supplementation. Now, losing a lot of weight is a stressor on the body, and it can set you up to get sick. Think about it. You're basically cannibalizing body fat for fuel, and you're putting your body through a pretty rigorous routine. In my case, I was doing way too much. I was doing 2 sessions of cardio a day. I was lifting weights at least 6 days a week, and I was eating really low calories. So I wasn't getting a lot of the nutrients my body naturally needed to keep me feeling well and healthy. So I would supplement with vitamin C. Now, I'll throw this in there too, just as a side note. At times I would take a multivitamin, which included things like vitamin D3, vitamin C, but I noticed that I needed a little bit more vitamin C because I started to get colds, I started to feel run down, and noticed I was getting sick a little bit more frequently because I was putting my body through the ringer. So vitamin C can be a safe way to help avoid getting sick. Now you combine it with things like vitamin D3 and obviously eating healthier, getting more sleep, drinking enough water, all the things that we try to do every day. Vitamin C can just help you avoid the risk that comes with losing a lot of weight and ultimately finding yourself getting sick more frequently. How much vitamin C? Well, just depends. Once again, I would err on the side of checking your blood work and making sure that you're not going too crazy with vitamin C, but picking up a normal vitamin C supplement and just taking a serving a day, it's probably a good place to start if you're prone to things like getting sick, or you live in a climate or maybe even work in an environment where you're exposed to a lot of germs, a lot of illness, stuff like that. Just can be a great way to avoid unnecessary sickness. Now, if you made it this far in the video, I appreciate you watching. Do me a favor, like this video if this has been helpful so far. My mission here is to not have you go out and stock up on a ton of supplements. I think supplements can play a small role in your transformation and an important one in certain cases, but this is not me telling you that supplements are the secret to transforming your physique. I don't care where you are in your life or how old you are, supplements are literally just supplements. They're not the bread and butter. In fact, I'd argue that they probably make up less than 5% of the total package when it comes to transformation. The biggest stuff, and I'll just say it quickly, but you need to move more, you need to lift weights, get good sleep, and you need to control your calories and your nutrient quality. Most importantly, getting enough protein, which leads me to the last supplement that I had just about every single day, and that is a quality protein powder. Now, my experience was a little different. Most people err on the side of going for whey protein. Whey protein is the most common type of protein out there that people use, but I noticed that my stomach just felt a little bit off whenever I would take in a lot of whey protein. So I started experimenting with a quality vegan protein powder. Now, a quality vegan protein powder includes all the essential amino acids that make up a complete protein, which in short, help you build muscle at an effective rate and repair muscle at an effective rate and give you what your body needs from protein versus just eating broccoli that has some protein. It's not a complete amino acid, so you're not going to get everything you need to repair and build new muscle. Now, whey protein just wasn't sitting well with me, so I started playing around with a vegan protein powder, and I noticed some pretty positive side effects. I felt less bloated, less full, just clearer, right? It just digested way better than whey protein. So I actually tend to go for a quality vegan protein powder these days, and back then it was something I included just about every single day to help me hit my protein goal. The way I would use it, well, there's a couple of ways. Number one is I'd mix it into Greek yogurt to max out my protein intake at certain meals. I'd throw in a smoothie, and I'd have a smoothie once in a while to help me get to my protein goals. Those are really the two most common ways that I use protein powder, but over time, I started to even cook with protein powder. I'd make protein pancakes that included some protein powder mixed in. I'd even make a topping for healthier French toast, stuff that tastes good. And even I'd make something called a protein sludge, where I take the protein powder, mix it with water or almond milk, and it would turn into like a paste. And then I'd add things like fruit, a protein bar, crunched up and smashed up inside of it to make almost like an ice cream type of dessert. But protein powder is a supplement because it's not real food. Yes, it is real nutrients, but it's much easier than cooking up a bunch of chicken, a bunch of salmon, a bunch of egg whites, whatever your main protein sources are. Sometimes you just need a powder to make it easier and more convenient. So protein powder was something that I had in my supplement arsenal just about every single day. Now that wraps up today's video with the 5 supplements I utilize to lose 50 pounds in 3 months. If you're out there and you're struggling to get motivated, if you're struggling to find a plan that's sustainable, that will make you feel good, and you're kind of past this whole I just want to get shredded, I just want abs, and ultimately what you really want is to just feel good again. Maybe in the past you worked out and you had a decent routine, but you're in a new chapter in life. You have a busy career or business, you have a family to take care of, you have a lot on your plate, and you need something that fits into your lifestyle instead of trying to work your lifestyle around fitness. That's where my True Transformation program comes into play. We've been in business for over 15 years. We've helped thousands of people just like you all around the world maximize your fitness, but do it in a way that's sustainable, enjoyable, and something you can do for the long haul without having to sacrifice your family, your business, or your social life. If that's something that you're interested in and you want my help with that, well, I have good news for you. I have a link that you can check out where there's either a free resource to get you started, or if you're dead serious about making a change right now, you can book a consultation, fill out a quick survey, and my team and I will take great care of you. So check out the link in the description of the video or the first comment below. And we'd love to help serve you on your fitness journey. But for now, there's always something I leave you with, and that is life moves fast. Make it count. Thanks for watching today's video. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.